Hello, hello, and welcome to part three of this self love series. I'm super excited to be getting into part three with y'all. We still got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm so excited that you are here. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, yes, there are two videos before this one. So if you really want to dive deep into this topic of self love and just glean some of my experiences and some of the things that I've learned along this 10-year self love journey. The link will be in the description below for the playlist so you can get caught up, okay? But in this video, I'm basically gonna discuss some of the aspects of self love that can, get a little complicating and just really dig deeper into the truth of why self love is important. So, if you are someone that is new to your self love journey, maybe you've been on your self love journey for a little while and it's getting a little complicated and you need some insights, you're hoping to gain a fresh perspective, then baby, this is the video for you. So thank you so much for being here. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first and foremost, when you see me looking down, I'm just making sure that I'm touching all the topics on the notes that I have here to make sure I'm staying on track and all of that good stuff. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about why self-love actually matters. So basically, self-love is more than just a concept. Okay. Self love is truly a way of life, it's a way of being, it's a way to learn yourself on a deeper level. As I have said in previous videos, self love is truly about deep acceptance of yourself, learning to appreciate yourself in all facets of yourself, learning to see your flaws and embrace them and appreciate them and learn who you are on a deeper level. Because as you're able to cultivate that beautiful self love for yourself, this thing right here, it translates into all of your other relationships. Okay. So, one thing that self love is really crucial for is your own well being. Okay. Because if you don't truly love yourself, imagine when you love something, when you value something, when you appreciate something, the way you treat it is different. Okay. When you really, really appreciate something, think about the last thing that you bought that was something that you've been wanting to get for a long time. For some people, like here's an example. When some people get a brand new car, okay, they're making sure they're washing that thing, they're wiping that thing down, they're keeping that thing clean, they're dusting it, all of that stuff. When you have something that is new, something that you value, you treat it differently. And when you really start valuing yourself and loving on yourself, you start treating yourself with more respect. You start treating yourself in the same way that you would treat any other thing that you own or that you have acquired that means something to you, that is valuable to you. And once you start leveling up your self love for yourself, you're going to start noticing the way other people treat you. Okay? Because truly, the saying that says, how you treat yourself sets the tone for how other people treat you is something honestly I find to be true. I mean, there is always the exception to the rule where there's some people that haven't really been able to cultivate a deep self-love for themselves, but they have been blessed with the opportunity to come across individuals that see that value within them and are able to love them more than they ever thought possible. However, in the grand scheme of life, typically when you love on yourself and you truly value yourself, there's people that will recognize you and they're not even going to try to play about you. You know what I mean? So it is really being able to foster that deeper level of well-being for yourself, because the more you love on yourself, the more you see yourself as someone of value, the more other people are going to see that and respect that and bring that type of value to you as well. And self love is an essential part of personal growth. Okay, personal growth and development, girlies or bros out there that's doing your thing, trying to level up in life, in business, in whatever that you're trying to do. When you love on yourself, it's really an aspect of personal growth and personal development, because it can be challenging. Okay. Anybody that told you that the self love journey is a breeze, it's a walk in the park, they lied to you, because you're going to have difficult days. When you are learning to love yourself, sometimes there's relationships and situations that fall apart because some people may not be used to you holding yourself to these higher levels and higher standards, and not used to the boundaries that you are creating within your life. And that can sometimes lead to situations and circumstances that cause certain friendships, relationships, etc., to fall apart. And that's just how it be sometimes. So, really and truly, self love is crucial in your growth journey. Okay. Recognizing where you are, recognizing what you want, recognizing where you want to be, taking a stock at your and look at your life as where you are now, and thinking about where you're trying to go, and measuring your current level of self love to the self love of someone that is in the position you want to be in, really causes you to reflect and ask yourself what you can do to improve that relationship with yourself. Okay. So, when I think about my self love journey, it has definitely been rocky. There's been a lot of highs and lows. And the thing is if you're someone that is like genuinely loving and caring, and you want to help other people, and you want to do good for people and the world, a lot of times you might fall into this trap where you do things that are above and beyond what you are required to do. You overextend yourself. You say yes to everything and every situation that comes your way because you want to help, and you have a heart of love, and you want to give, and all of those things. But let me tell you, as good as it is to be a giving and a loving and a caring person, there are people who will take advantage of that on multiple accounts. And the thing is if you're not setting your boundaries, and if you're not protecting yourself and your own well-being, you can fall into these traps over and over and over and over and over again. And then when you really start respecting yourself and saying, hey, like, I only have a limited amount of time. Hey, I only have a limited amount of focus, and I need to make sure that I am replenishing myself and pouring into myself so I can show up as my best self. That might irritate some people. And then next thing you know, they want to argue with you. Next thing you know, they want to be mad at you. Next thing you know, they want to make it like you're a bad person. Don't fall for that trap. I'm telling you, don't fall for that trap, because you need to pour into yourself. Coming from my own experience of having friendships, families, even just being in business and wanting to help people so much that I'm not thinking about my bottom line, it led to burnout. It was a messed up situation for me, because at the end of the day, there was a lot of taking, but not a lot of giving. There was no reciprocity. I had to take a step back. That's the reason I'm literally starting all over from scratch right now. Is it easy? No, it's not. It's discouraging. It can be frustrating. But at the end of the day, I feel like now I'm moving with more intention, in the sense of really respecting my time and my space as much as possible. I don't get it right all the time. Okay. I definitely don't. But there's a lot of principles that I exercise day to day, because the thing is, a lot of times when we think about our self love journey, we think about it only in the sense of romantic relationships and getting our self love right for our romantic relationships. But honestly, let me tell you something, baby, you got to get it right across the board. You got to get it right when it comes to your relationship with your career, your business, your platonic relationships with your friends, your familial relationships. You got to get it right in all aspects, because everybody is going to test you at some point. That's just life. We're going to come across people that are going to want more from us than they're willing to invest. That's just life. It's an experience. And we've got to understand what we're able to carry. We've got to understand what we're able to put out there, because something that is so true is every time you say yes to something, you automatically have to say no to someone else. So I just want to encourage you today that when you are saying yes to something and someone else, that you're not saying no to yourself. Because when you continue to say no to yourself, you ain't got no energy to do nothing. And then that can lead to resentment, and that can lead to frustration. And this is why the self love journey is important. because you got to make sure that you are keeping your own cup full. One of my biggest lessons when I was recognizing, not even really recognizing that I was going through burnout, but just putting myself out there in so many different areas and avenues and relationships and friendships in business. And then I was feeling tired and I was like, man, I just don't have the energy to do anything. One of the things that kept coming up to me is like, baby girl, you got to pour from a cup that is overflowing. You got to make sure that your cup is full, full, full and overflowing. And then you can give from your overflow. Because when you give from your overflow, you give from ease, you give from peace, you give from love. And there is no resentment after. Versus when your cup is barely full and you're trying to pour into somebody else's cup and you ain't got enough for you. It's all good and well to be loving, to be caring, to be that type of person. I'm here for it all day long. But you've got to be mindful. You've got to be smart about it. You got to make sure that you are replenished. Okay? So, moving right along. So, this particular video, as I stated briefly, is really to help you understand that self-love, it can get complicated because there are pitfalls to building a self-love journey, and as you continue to build that authentic, deep connection with yourself and really start accepting yourself fully, you can recognize some of these pitfalls and some of these, errors in your ways that may have happened and not beat yourself up about it because you don't know what you don't know. Life is really the greatest teacher, and some things that happen in our life, we have to experience it. But if we keep experiencing the same thing over and over and over and over again, that goes to show that we're not learning from it. And if we're not learning from that lesson is going to continue to present itself until we learn from it, baby. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to learn. We're going to learn from these experiences. So when it comes to uh, blunders of self-love, okay, I talk about, one of the greatest teachers I've had in my life, especially in my love journey, my self-love journey. And, that was a relationship that I entered into thinking that this was going to be my man, my man, my man, my man. I can speak English. My man, my man, my man. Oh, okay, there we go. Right? I thought this was going to be something very long term. I thought that this was the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I thought we was going to get married, la da 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 da. It was a long term relationship. And I really entered into that relationship with the intention for something long term. Did not happen that way. It did not happen that way. And in that relationship, there was certain things that happened in that relationship where I did some pointing of fingers when really and truly I had to take stock and take a look and see where I had to take accountability for some of the things that were happening in that relationship. And that's the thing. A lot of times we enter into relationships or we see situations and circumstances happening and playing out in our lives. And it's easy to point the finger and to blame other people. But the thing is in relationships, there's two people, okay? So you also need to be able to have accountability for yourself and where you went wrong in the relationship and not necessarily blaming yourself because trust me, there's some things that the other person really had no business doing, and you'd be sitting up here blaming yourself for things that was really not even your fault. Like you really couldn't have done nothing about that. You couldn't have changed that even if you tried. It was going to happen like that regardless. But what I'm saying about taking accountability is recognizing the things that you noticed, the red flags that you avoided, the things that you allowed in the relationship that you had no business allowing, and really asking yourself, like, why I did that? That's interesting. I noticed I did this. I noticed I did that. Why? Why did I allow that to happen? You know what I mean? And learning from it, not in a sense of beating yourself up or saying, oh, I'm so stupid. And that's not what it's about, baby. Because everything in life is really a learning experience. And that is what I say. This individual has been like one of my greatest teachers. I still have a lot of respect for this individual. We do not speak. And ultimately, though, like, I find this person to be a very great person overall. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. Maybe in another lifetime. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I can walk away and not have resentment for that situation and be at peace and at ease within myself because I know that it was not time that was wasted. Because a lot of times we look at relationships that we enter into and we think, oh, we wasted time, this, that, and the third. But ultimately, I can truly say that I learned a lot. And had it not been for that relationship, there's a lot of situations and circumstances that I would not have learned through. Like if I had not had the opportunity to experience those things, I would not have learned a lot of things. So at the end of the day, got to give credit where credit is due. Great person, just wrong time, and just it just wasn't aligned, unfortunately. And we have a lot of different blunders like that on our self love journey. I know I'm speaking right now about this particular relationship, but I spoke earlier also about like business and things like that. Like it happens. And the key is that when things like this happen, is that you do not dwell on them and you keep moving yourself forward. So some of the other things that come up when you're on your self love journey, for example, is comparing yourself to others. Oh my gosh. Okay. So comparing yourself to others, I do not recommend at all, because somebody could be on a chapter 34 and you're on a chapter 7, and like what's happening on chapter 34 is not really what's happening on 37 on chapter 7. And then furthermore, everybody's story is different. Like, you know what I mean? When you have different genres of movies, it's kind of like that with people. Some people have, they're on a love genre and you might be on a mystery genre. Like you can't compare it. It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's really about staying focused on your journey, where you're at, learning from your experiences, really assessing what you would like within your life and working on yourself to better yourself, to be able to be equipped and aligned for your purpose and your journey in life, because that's going to save you a ton of headache. I'm going to tell you right now. It will, okay? So, I know there's a lot of pressure to measure up to other people, and that can really have a negative impact on your self-esteem. You know, when we see other people around us, everybody out here, okay, they out there, they're leveling up in life, they're getting married over there, okay, over there, they're, having children over there, okay, over there, they just bought a house, okay, over there, they just made $1 million over there. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that are happening in and around our friend circles. And sometimes, if some of these things are happening within our lives, we begin to wonder and question if something's wrong with us. Been there, done that. Waste of time. It's a waste of time, because your journey is your journey. And it's so important for you to tune into that and recognize that where you are in life is exactly where you're supposed to be. It's where you're meant to be. Even if it doesn't feel like it, trust and believe that where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And it may not make sense right now, but you got to give it time. And it's really about learning how to thrive and to appreciate where you are, even though you may want more. It's just really getting an understanding and a peace about where you are in life. And that is what's really, truly gonna bless you. Okay. So, next things next is to stop focusing on external validation. Okay. When you are seeking approval from other people, it's really just going to continually leave you empty and dissatisfied within yourself. Because again, what's happening in their chapter 34 is a completely different thing than what's happening in your chapter 7. And even sometimes what actually might be taking place is you might actually be further along than you realized. Maybe you're on actually chapter 52 and they're over here on chapter 34, and you're looking at their chapter 34 not realizing that they haven't even touched the obstacles and the challenges that you have already conquered two, three, four times in your life, because you're on chapter 52. So that is why it is so important to really learn how to love yourself on a deep level, so you are not looking for validation outside of yourself. Because when you seek validation outside of yourself, you're giving people control over you. Yeah. You're allowing them to basically turn you into a puppet. Be like, okay, I'm going to tell you XYZ, and that's going to make you feel good. And now that you feel good, okay, now tomorrow I'm going to tell you XYZ, and that's going to make you feel bad. So, what you're doing, you're putting your power in somebody else's hands. You're allowing somebody else to turn you into a little marionette doll and pull all your strings, and you just are at this person's whim. And that is not a good look. Okay. That is a bad, bad look. Okay. We're talking about self love, which also leads to self empowerment. And when you love on yourself and you know who you are, you know your truth, flaws and all, and you can accept that truly deeply, baby, people's validation, people's compliments, people's applause, they are nice and you appreciate it, but you don't seek it. You don't dwell on it. You don't need it as your food, your daily bread. No, you don't need that as your daily bread because you're going to do you regardless because you know that you're good regardless. You feel me? Yes. Like this video right now if you are picking up what I'm putting down. Yes. So ultimately, what I'm saying here is stop focusing on other people in the sense of your journey. Stop comparing yourself to them. Stop expecting them to clap for you. You got to learn to clap for yourself, baby. Yeah, you got to see the greatness in you before anybody else does. Okay. And as you are navigating your self love journey, a lot of people get this confused. People think that self love and self care is the same thing, and it is not. Self care is a way to level up your self love journey. And as you're loving on yourself, two key things is that you need to stay on your self care as much as you can. And you need to really set some boundaries with yourself and others. So, for example, I had a really busy week the past couple of weeks. There was a lot going on, right? And again, mistakes that happened. I was just so busy. I had so much going on that I did not prioritize my self care because I was focused on deadlines and things that had to get done. And a part of that was I could have tightened up on my boundaries a little bit and been like, okay, you know what? Well, actually, you know what? Truth be told, yeah, I guess I could have tightened up on the boundaries a little bit, little bit, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I was able to recognize, like, okay, I need some time. I need to fall back. Like, I need to, this is the line right here, and I'm going to fall back on it. And I tightened it up as much as I felt like I could within my right, but I didn't get my self care done. But let me tell you, as soon as I got that moment, got that opportunity, today, right now, after I'm done this, I did some of my self care this morning, and I was doing daily little self care things, but there were like other self care things that I kind of put to a side. But I tried to implement as much of it as possible. So ultimately, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of your self care, as simple as it is. Because I'm judging myself a little harshly right now because you can see my nails are not did, and I wanted to get them done last week, and I never did. So I'm being a little strict on myself in regards to that. But I was doing my daily self care in the sense of doing my skincare and, making sure like I'm taking care of myself and my mind and doing my meditation. And I really could have done more, but it was a crazy week. You know what I mean? So that's just going to show that it is super important to recognize where you need to tighten up on your self care or tighten up on your boundaries, where you need to make sure you're making time for your self care. And when you notice this, you don't beat yourself up. You just make sure to schedule that thing in and make sure you get back on track because life be lifing. And sometimes you're busy and sometimes there's things that need to get done. But as much as you can, make sure that you are prioritizing your needs and maintaining those boundaries because, as I said, two things we do not want to have to deal with if we don't have to, baby, is burnout and resentment. Because them things, okay. So, moving right along, we're going to talk about turning your mistakes into lessons, as I've been sharing a little bit right here. And just that's really just about shifting your perspective, being able to change the way you see things and start seeing things in a more positive way, right? So, like the example I just shared with my crazy week that I had last week, I was able to take a look back and take stock of the situation and realize, okay, these were the things that had me, not really focused and where I wanted to be in regards to my self-care and my boundaries. So when you're able to recognize what the roots of the challenges that's causing you to not really show up for yourself on your self-love journey, it's good to take a look at it, become aware of it, and then implement the changes. As I literally just discussed a scenario on what happened to me. And like I said, it does come up because you have societal pressures, you know, you have life demands. Like I said, life be lifing. For me, it was mainly business stuff that I had to take care of. And there was a project that I was working on. The deadline was looking crazy, but then deadline ended up getting pushed back because some of the things we was trying to do wasn't really turning out the way that it needed to get done. So that is key. But then we also have to look at our past experiences and reminding ourselves when we didn't fully hone in to our self-love journey and do the things that we knew was necessary, what was some of the experiences that we faced and what were some of those results, and really recognize how detrimental it can be if we don't follow through and do the things that we need to do. And then also take a look at our limiting beliefs and really ask ourselves, okay, what are the limiting beliefs that we're having that has us constantly playing out the same situation in the same scenario? I keep neglecting myself. I keep putting this off. What is it within my thought process and my belief system that is causing me to do this? And that is why journaling is one of the bomb ways to do self-care, is to take that time to journal and to go through these thought processes and ask yourself these questions. Because when you ask yourself these questions and you journal it out, sometimes you're kind of shocked to see what comes up, but trust that and know that as you do these exercises, you'll definitely gain more clarity on your journey. Also, through all of this, let me tell you, it is so important to have self-compassion. I did mention this a little bit earlier, but really it's so important for you to be kind to yourself and to be understanding towards yourself, especially when you're going through a difficult time. So like I said, yes, okay, the week was kind of hectic. I could have tightened up on those boundaries a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was understanding because I knew that there were certain things that were a little bit outside of my control. But ultimately, I said, girl, it's cool. You're doing your daily, self-care stuff. You're doing your best. There's situations and circumstances that happen outside of your control, but you're doing well, and you're going to snap back. And I made sure to make time to snap back today, and I did, because that's what happens. You learn and you move on and you grow, and you don't beat yourself up. You keep it pressing, because life, like I said, be lifing. Okay? And as you do that, you're going to start being able to recognize that these imperfections that you have does not take away from your worth, and it does not take away from your value, and you love yourself in spite of. Because let me tell you, ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't, don't believe what you see on social media. Okay? Curated content. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Because even I have had the idea, especially when I think of like when I got behind the scenes of business, running my marketing agency, and also just working for some other business owners, uh, working with them to level up stuff within their business, or going in as someone in management, um, working in customer service and things like that, and looking and seeing some processes of some businesses. And I'm like, whoa, I thought I was disorganized. Oh, okay, I'm doing better than I thought. I'm doing better than I thought. You would be shocked. You would be shocked how many people you think are perfect that are living their best life. And it's not like that. It's not like that. Matter of fact, on YouTube a couple days ago, if I can find it, I'm gonna link it. But I don't even remember what caused me to click on this video. I think it was a short. And this lady was basically saying like stories of what she experienced living in LA, and how she was scrolling through videos on Instagram and she see all these influencers posing up, showing this name brand, that name brand, showing the life, living the lifestyle. But then when she ended up going to their house, she got invited to their house, and there was like 15 of them living in a one-bedroom apartment fighting over clothes. I was like, the math was not mathing for me, because some of us really aren't living a life that's bad. Some of us are living really exceptional lives. But because we see what people are posting on social media, we feel some type of way because we're holding ourselves to standards that are really high. Yeah. That's something I think even for myself this year, I'm really like, girl, you doing better than you thought you were. Yeah. So that's just something to keep in mind right there. So being able to just have that acceptance for yourself and that understanding towards yourself, that self compassion towards yourself, and realize you're really doing so much better than you think you are. You really, truly are. And I think I had posted a couple threads about this last week into this week. Oh, yeah, last week, I guess, by the time you watch this video. So if you are on threads, definitely feel free to come through and check your girl out and see if you get, some good little inspiration, motivation on the feed. Okay. Uh, Now let's talk about self love, because we talked about how sometimes you be neglecting self love, and self love does not have to be this huge, luxurious affair. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's, as I mentioned in other videos, I think it was especially the last video I did, some different self care practices you can do, because self care, everybody feels like it's solely like, oh, get your hair and nails done, but it's deeper than that. Like in this video, I did mention journaling, but you know what? All of the nice little stuff like taking yourself out to dinner, all of that stuff is very nice, beautiful acts of self care. And, you know, truthfully, I wanted to just encourage you and remind you, as we just said, like some people out here feeling like they have to do the most, and you don't have to do the most when it comes to self-care. You can do simple things and it's still good. You don't need a big budget. You know what I'm saying? Like for me today, my self-care, I did my little facial routine, but for example, I'm gonna do my nails. Okay, now, yeah, I could go and get a mani pedi, which I was planning on doing, but the way the winter has been wintering, yeah, no. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna go all the way to go get my nails done and get my toes done, and then I still gotta go ahead and put on winter boots and all of that stuff. That's just my personal thing. So instead, I'm gonna be doing my nails at home, and that's something that I like to do sometimes. I do my little press on nails, put my little stickers on them, my little nail decals, and all of that good stuff, and I keep it pressing. That is still self care. You don't have to go and, you know what I mean, spend money or leave your house to indulge in self-care. Of course, you have to buy like some of the little stuff, but it doesn't have to be expensive. You know what I mean? And you can do a lot of self-care stuff on a budget, like at home. You don't need to go to a five-star spa to get all the spa treatments done. You can go in your kitchen and make a quick little oatmeal mask, and it's going to be giving. You know what I mean? So just know that there's so many ways to indulge in self-care that's not going to break the bank. So don't feel any type of way when you see other people on social media doing all these huge stuff, luxurious, expensive stuff, and you feel like, oh, you can't do self-care like that. You can still do your little thing at home, okay? So where there's a will, there is a way. So when you're able to shift your mindset and realize that self care is something that is accessible to everybody on any budget, you might even notice that you start indulging a little bit more. And when you're able to do that and really take that time for yourself to invest into yourself, even just doing like a small little facial at home, doing a little foot scrub, or, maybe you level up your hair mask and you do like a nice homemade hair mask that you've never done before or something like that. Once you start doing these nice little things for yourself, it really changes your whole vibe, your whole energy. It just shifts it. And you start really appreciating yourself and valuing yourself more and knowing like I'm worthy of good things. I'm worthy of good things. And you start making time for it. It doesn't matter that you're not going out and doing all of that. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. Now, if you got it like that and you want to go and splurge and spend and do whatever, baby boo, do you. I'm here for it. Do it. Do it. Because like I said, sometimes I like to go and like do a little thing, but sometimes I like to stay at my house and not do nothing. Okay? Do a quick little simple thing. Because at the end of the day, do you know how many times in all the times I used to go and get my nails done, when I do my press ons at home, I always get so many compliments. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love your nails when I do them at home. At home. I never got that many compliments when I used to go get my nails done out of the house. So, like, I'm going to just leave that there. So, furthermore, moving into other self care practices that are for the free 99 that are absolutely, absolutely beneficial is doing simple things like breathing exercises. I love meditating. When I started my self love journey, I wasn't really big on meditation and stuff like that. I had tried it so many times and it did not work for me. But right before my dark night of the soul experience, I started getting into meditation and now I do it every day. I love it. And there's so many different ways to meditate. But even just taking 5, 10 minutes just to close your eyes, get in a calm, chill space, and do some breaths. That's all you need, girl. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. Okay. And guided meditations is something that really helped me. I actually used to do a lot of guided meditations, and I'm really feeling like I'm going to start doing some more. I just dropped the Our Father prayer meditation a couple days ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and link to that. It might be in my beacons, but I'll link to it in the description box if you want to check out some of my older meditations and see if it's something that you like. Because it's meditation, it's amazing. I love it. It's really helped me in my journey, and I recommend it to anybody. Another thing too that you can do, of course, is just going out for a walk, mindful walks out in nature. Just, walking slowly, taking in the scenery, breathing in the fresh air. I'm not a winter girly personally, so as long as there's 90,000 feet of snow outside, I'm not going to be going on a walk anytime soon. But you best believe as soon as the spring roll around, I'm going to be out there. Okay. So if you're in a beautiful climate, or maybe you like snow and you're cool with walking in the snow and the ice and all of that, more power to you. Going out, getting a mindful walk. When you walk, it's just beautiful to take in the scenery, and it just does something to clear your mind and you feel so much better. Whenever you're stressed, you're worried, you're overthinking, walking is one of the best free ways that you can go out there and get your self care in. And of course, last but not least, I mean, there's other ways, but I'm just going to share three today, is journaling. As I shared earlier, journaling is an amazing way to reflect, to ask yourself deep questions, and to get that clarity that you desire. But it's also so good for gratitude. Just taking a moment, especially when you're going through it, and journaling all the things that you're grateful for, trust me, you will walk away from that feeling so much better than you did. So, I high key recommend journaling. And, as I mentioned earlier, home spa treatments with natural ingredients are great, 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 great. Some amazing natural ingredients that you probably have in your kitchen right now. Like I said, there's oatmeal, avocado, banana, honey, yogurt. All of those are really great natural ingredients that you can use to make a face mask, to make a hair mask. Also, um, like tomato is a good face mask as well. Potato is also a good little face exfoliator that you can use on your face. Sugar, mix some sugar with a little bit of honey, do yourself a little lip scrub, do a little face scrub with it. There's so many amazing self-care remedies that you can make in your kitchen. Okay, the list is long. So if you want to know more about home self-care remedies that you can do, go ahead, drop it in the comments, and I will go ahead and look at seeing how we can come up with a video that's going to give you the tea. But otherwise, there's tons of videos on YouTube that share this type of information. But if you want to see the way that I do it and some of the stuff that I like to use when I am creating my own little concoctions in the kitchen, drop it in the comments. Okay. Um, and of course, not only using these wonderful natural ingredients on the outside of your body, but even just creating nutritious meals for yourself that are healthy and delicious and are simple. Fueling your body with good fuel just helps you feel better. It helps you glow differently. They even say, typically when you're trying to get fit for the summer, they always say that building the body that you want, it doesn't happen in the gym, it happens in the kitchen. So just being mindful of what you eat. And I'm all for the sweet treats and the snacks and all of that stuff, but I think there's a balance with it. So just eating food that you enjoy that is nutritious and easy to prepare. There's so many different health hacks that you can do out there when it comes to different foods. And it's something that I highly, highly recommend. Even juices. Okay, my mom is like the queen of juices and smoothies. And if y'all are curious, I might let her put y'all on. So you know what to do. Drop it in the comments, okay? And working out, moving your body. Okay, this is something I'm really trying to get back into this year. I've actually been doing pretty good. I got a stationary bike, and that's what I've been doing pretty much every day. Also been lifting some weights, doing, a little bit of calisthenic workout and stuff like that. But it's a wonderful way. You don't always got to go and drop money to go to the gym. I'm a gym girly. I love going to the gym, but I'm in a new province right now. I moved from Alberta to Ontario, and Ontario was looking real different. It's looking real different, and I've not really become acclimatized to the area and the surroundings yet. So I've been doing just a lot of workouts at home. Uh, but yeah, we'll see if I get back in the gym. But I'm a gym girly. I like going to the gym. But honestly, working out at home, you can still get amazing results, and you don't even have to spend crazy. I have like a couple of ankle weights, got a yoga mat, a couple different handheld weights. Like I said, I got a stationary bike. I got my skipping rope because when spring comes in, I really am looking forward to skipping rope again. So, there's a lot of different things that you can do within your house if you don't want to go to the gym. It could be for commuting reasons. Maybe you just don't want to commute to the gym. Some people I know, they find the gym is crowded, all of that. Probably by May, the gym gonna be empty. I know that from experience. I used to work in the industry, and the gym's only full January through March, for real, for real. So that's something to keep in mind. But you can do a nice, cute little affordable workout from home too. All right, so moving further into it, cultivating peace without breaking the bank is meditation. As I said, one of my most favorite meditation apps of all time. It's called Insight Timer. Love it, love it, love it. There's a lot of guided meditations here on YouTube, but I personally love Insight Timer. This is not sponsored, but it's the app that I used when I started my meditation journey. And what I love about it is that it tracks how, like, it tracks your streaks, and you get little rewards and awards for continuing to meditate on a regular basis. And I was literally obsessed with that app. Currently, I don't use it anymore because now I usually just meditate to meditation music. So I'll just go ahead on YouTube. There's a couple creators on YouTube that I absolutely love, and I will tune into their meditations. So that's basically what I've been doing as of late over the past few years now. But I do, like I said, have a ton of meditations on Insight Timer, and I plan on adding more. So if you want to check out the app, definitely feel free to do so. And it is a free app as well. There is a premium option to upgrade, but all the meditations I've put on there so far have been free meditations. So you can definitely check that out. Another thing as well is reading. Okay. Reading physical books that are inspirational. Uh, there's so many books. Let me know if you guys would like to see a book list from me because a girl likes to read. Okay. I have a lot of books. I've not been reading as much over the past couple of years just because I've been more so in creating mode than consumption mode. But, you know, reading is amazing. Even just if you don't have the time to read a physical book, or maybe holding a physical book, reading a physical book or a digital book is not really for you, you can listen to audible books, uh, and you can also listen to podcasts. There's a lot of really great podcasts. I was in a podcast era shortly, maybe for like a couple years, and there's a lot of really great podcasts that I used to listen to for different topics. So podcast is another great thing. And again, when it comes to like budget friendliness, if you're looking for a kind of a budget friendly option, when it comes to the podcasts, or sorry, when it comes to the books, you can also get books from your library. Okay, you get a library card. A lot of times you can get physical books, digital ebooks, as well as audiobooks that you can listen to on the go. I used to do that a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, when I was in Alberta, me and the library was like this. I listened to so many audible books on the little library app. It was fantastic. So definitely something to check out. All right. And definitely another way to cultivate your inner peace, as I mentioned briefly earlier, is really just about setting your boundaries. And that is the best thing you can do for your mental well being. Because let me tell you something, some people will try you. That's just the facts of life. Some people gonna try you. They're gonna try those boundaries, and all you can do is really reinforce them. Stay true to yourself, and you gotta honor yourself. You gotta love on yourself. The self love journey sometimes means making hard decisions and saying no to people. And if you're saying no to somebody else so you can say yes for yourself, for your own mental well being, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. So to wrap it all up, because I feel like this has been a very long video. Oh my gosh, I feel like the videos just keep getting longer and longer. Lord have mercy. Whew, but I wanted to make sure I was giving you all the goods. So if you made it this far, you the real MVP. You are the real MVP. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let's go ahead and wrap this thing up real quick. Um, on your self-love journey, it's going to be very important for you to have patience with yourself because you're going to make mistakes along the way. I shared I make mistakes too. I make mistakes too. And I've been on this journey for 10 years. So you're always going to be learning and growing and just having patience with yourself, but also maintaining consistency because it's easy to fall off and fall back into your old habits. And that's why it's important to have some sort of consistent uh, routine that you implement and you follow. So when I created the self love pact, that was something I was doing every single year and doing a deep dive. And then after about the sixth year, I was like, nah, I need to really make sure that I'm implementing parts of this into my daily. And that's where the real change happens. And I remember um, when I put out the self love pact, I got a 1-star review, and someone was like, oh, this is like so beginner, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Anyways, long story short though, reading that, at first I felt some type of way, but then I realized if it is so beginner and you can find this information everywhere and you're still looking for that information, then you need this book, girl. You need this book. Because the thing is, it's not just about the information, because you can take out in as much information about self love as you want, but it's in the action, it's in the application. And if you were applying the information like the other people that read the book and provided their feedback, you would have seen that that beginner information is life changing. Yeah, once you implement it. So it's all about implementation. It's all about implementation. You got to do the work. You can't just read about it and feel good in the moment. Oh, I read about self love. I feel good. Yeah, you got to implement it. You got to take the action. That's where the work comes in. Yeah. hmm That's where you actually implement it into your routine and you do the work, and then you start seeing the changes in your life. That's what's got to happen. Reading it ain't gonna do nothing for you. And that's part of the reason why I made it so small, is because I need people to really take in, digest the information, and apply it daily, 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 every day, every week, whatever. Create a routine, a consistent routine, to make sure that you're doing these things on a regular basis. That's how you're going to see a change in your life. Okay? And as you go through your self love journey, because there will be mistakes, when you have victories, okay, and when you notice progress, as small as it is, make sure you go ahead and celebrate yourself. Clap yourself, give yourself a round of applause, clap your hands, pat yourself on the back. That's what I was looking to say. Pat yourself on the back, because it is a big feat. Because there's a lot of people out here that ain't about it. And the fact that you are out here putting in that work and you're doing the actions and you're taking the steps, that says something monumental about the growth you're about to receive. That says something big about you. So celebrate your success, no matter how small it is. That's a victory, and you deserve to celebrate yourself for it. So, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it gave you some clarity about some of the things you can do when self love gets complicated, especially loving on yourself and indulging in that self care. Even if, right now people talk about inflation and somebody's president is on a tariff rampage, but just know you can get your self care in regardless, however it feels good to you. And most importantly, it's important for you to know that you are loved, you are valued, and you are absolutely worth it. So I hope you'll go out there and get some self love done today. And thank you again for being here. If you have not already, make sure you go ahead and like this video if it helped you and you found some value in it, so we can get this self love message out to other people that are looking for it. And comment down below if there's anything that I could help you with. You have any other questions, other videos that you'd like to see along this topic. Go ahead and comment and subscribe if you like to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.